Haven't made these for a while. Linseed, well, it's linseed bread, and I have done videos based upon the video that I saw, which I also got a link of the video that I saw into the video that I did, trying to emulate it. And I tried a few times, and I was trying to make the bread more like a loaf, more, you know, anyway. I gave up in the end. For the time being, I'm going to have to work out a way of making it, adding something else to it to get it more sort of bendy. But for the meantime, I've gone back to the balls. 250 grams of linseed, you know, dust really, if you can grind it. 270 ml of water. Didn't put any salt in. I've just realised it's supposed to have a little bit of salt in. But what my linseed mix did have, because it can taste a bit dull, is I bought some fruity linseed mix, which I think had some raspberries or whatever in it. I don't know what it had in it. It had bits and pieces in it. Let's have a look what it had in it. I've used this one before. I think it's from Lidl's. Raspberries. Blueberries and raspberries. So I used a bit of that. It's 160 grams of that, and I used 90 grams of this plain stuff because I didn't have any other additives. Anyway, so that's what I did. Mixed it all together into a bowl, left it for 10 minutes, put the oven on to 210 for 40 minutes. And so that's what I'm going to do now, and we'll see what I get at the end of it. Yeah, I think once I made it with apple juice or some apple juice just to sweeten it up, it's a good idea to put something in it. I haven't put, like I said, I haven't put any salt in it. I wonder, I might do. I got Himalayan salt. She didn't say how much to put in, and she didn't use Himalayan salt, she used something else. I'm just going to sprinkle it on the top and maybe it will soak in, but yeah, I actually forgot. You know, it's not the most important ingredient. Let's just do that. Pointless exercise number one. But there you go, there they are. So I am now gonna put them into the oven. Classic old middle, I'm trying to get the door to stop closing, middle shelf situation. In my case, it isn't, because there was already a middle shelf resident in town, so I am now trying to rectify that, which I have done. And you saw none of that, you saw me. I wonder what I looked like. I was concentrating. It is kind of hot. So there you go, in they are, 210. Try not to leave the door open for a bunch of minutes. And then I'm gonna get it up to 40. And we'll see how we do. Done. Right, I did wonder that 210 might be a bit high for a fan oven. No, that's all right actually. It's like the start of a heat wave. It's about 28 degrees outside, which is more than enough in the UK. Gonna get hotter as well. Oh, that's a nice little breeze. And I'm baking with the windows shut. Right. So, proof of the pudding is in the eating. Thought I had some marmalade somewhere. I'm also thinking you probably should wait for these to cool down. Tastes like nothing. I mean, not like, tastes like nothing I've ever tasted before. Yep, it tastes like nothing. That's what I remember from last time. So, now I'm going to defeat the object. It's in the comments here. Don't know. Find out tomorrow. I think it'd be better with marmalade, and it'd probably be better with something I've probably never heard of. But there you go. With some jam on it. I'm thinking it might be a good idea to put some ginger in this actually, because it's got the texture of things I've had with ginger, things I've enjoyed with ginger. I think it will work well with that flavour, even with or without the necessary or unnecessary jam. It's alright. The point is, it can be adjusted to perfect it the way you like it. And in the words of the doctor, the lady whose link I will hopefully have put in the description below, she's basically saying that something along the lines of the cornerstone, she didn't use the word cornerstone, but let's say the cornerstone or the start of any body handling, any health handling, begins with a paleo keto diet. And she said she realized within a very short space of time that anybody who was going to go onto a diet would struggle if they didn't have a bread. Personally, I feel that she's absolutely spot on with that, because paleo keto is like no rice, basically no starch, no carbs. So there's no rice, there's no pasta, there's no bread, there's no anything for padding, for stodge, you know. And like yesterday I had the other thing as well is that apparently I never knew this, but if you eat more protein than you need, the body turns that protein into sugar. So for instance, yesterday I made it was just some mince. You could have called it anything, bolognese, or you could have called it whatever you wanted. It's some mince with a few vegetables in it and some pasta sauce, which could just as easily have been a bunch of chopped tomatoes. Anyway, that's all it was though. You know, normally you say, okay, that would be lovely with maybe some rice, but certainly some spaghetti or some pasta. Spaghetti probably. Or even just a nice French stick piece of bread, you know, and warm it up, a little bit of butter or something. So it can get, you can miss that bulking agent. I'm not sure. I mean, when I first went on the paleo diet, I lost a lot of weight in a good way. It didn't seem to, other than the discipline and the old habits and everything fading out, and old cravings fading out at the beginning. After a while, it was quite nice because I was getting so used to feeling so much better after eating, and losing a bit of weight without it being some sort of a punishment or restraint. But eventually, I ran out of details in the diet, different things. So I think that's important as well, that you, if you're going to do that, that you find as many varied recipes as you can to keep yourself interested, because the moment it starts becoming a restraint and like a can't have, you know, it becomes a sort of drudgery, and you sort of wonder, well, what am I doing it for? And you know, you only got to end up with a little bit of cake, and it will very quickly turn into a lot of cake. True story. That's Christmas for you. But anyway, so my point is to try and have as wide a varied set of recipes, you know, and if you're cooking everything fresh, I suppose it's going to help if you can eat it over 2 or 3 days, and not necessarily every meal as well. So like, for instance, with that mince that I made, I ended up having it this afternoon. But if I had a couple of other things, I maybe could have had, you know, I had it last night and I had it this afternoon. I could have had it last night and then maybe tomorrow afternoon, with something different in between, something very different in between, you know. And then with something like this, once you've perfected it, it's just really handy. You know, because as I say, otherwise it can get a little bit dull and, you know, life without makeup. Not that I wear any, but you know what I mean. It's like, eventually, you could kind of say, is there any need for music? I mean, you can just tell me. You go up to someone and say, I love you, yeah, yeah, yeah. Or you can sing it. It's the quality of the communication, isn't it? And to me, that's what life's all about. My favourite people are the people that are an embellishment in themselves. You know, it's not just a person in front of me, it's a person with honours. So I don't think restraint is the answer to, is probably not the answer to anything ever. Might seem like it for a while, but if you're holding yourself back, you know, a bit like one of those dogs on the lead, you know, that really pulls when it walks. Well, you're going to have to, if you just pull the dog back, eventually you'll break his spirit. If you let him off the lead, he probably won't come back, you know. But so you think somewhere in the middle, you've got to have a situation where the dog's quite happy to be walking on a loose lead. And I think any analogy really works with that. Too much restraint and you'll fall off the wagon. So here's my attempt to get back on the wagon. Is that even right? I don't know. Here's my attempt to make these again, to eat them again, and to get closer and closer to the Paleolithic keto diet that worked so well for me before. I've continued to find other things useful in the meantime, but I've put a stone of that 1.5 stones back on, and I don't know what anybody else thinks about it, but it doesn't cheer me up. So I'm going to drop that one way or the other. Also found I had less headaches when I stuck to the diet. Probably that's blood sugar. So keeping that stable. I had another doctor or a nutritionist tell me that spiking your blood sugar is about the most stressful thing you can do for your body. So, other than boiling it alive, I guess. That's just my thought. But yeah, apparently puts the body under a tremendous amount of stress dealing with spikes in blood sugar. So paleo keto diet should tend to stabilize that as well. So a nice varied diet within those really tight constraints of what you can and can't have. Keep yourself interested in it by having that variation, and yeah, and one of the tools for that could be this spread. Linseed dust powder, ground linseeds basically, preferably with something interesting added. Bring your favorite whatever, a little bit of, make it with some juice instead of water, or part juice, part water, or whatever. Some seeds, or a lady said fennel. Fair enough, it would work with fennel, but that's not what I want to taste when I'm eating this. So yeah, and mash it all, stir it up, mash it together, leave it for 10 minutes, roll it into something about the size and length of a rolling pin apparently, and chop it up, turn it into buns, sling it in the oven. Yeah, probably 210 degrees, maybe a bit less, maybe 200 on a fan, middle shelf. It's not supposed to matter with a fan, but I think it still does, just in case I do that. So in the middle somewhere, 40 minutes, and probably let them cool a little bit before tucking into, preferably not all of them, and preferably not with a big wad of jam, because that will defeat the object. I don't know what else to put in there, peanut butter maybe, but even that, I don't know. Maybe even nothing, maybe a couple of slices of ham, whatever. Bring your own toys, all right? Thank you for watching, hope it's helped. It's been a while since I posted one of these, it's been a while since I made one of these. Hopefully it will inspire me to rehabilitate. Probably the most successful diet I ever undertook, right? Cheers, bye.